So we've gone round a lot of issues, but you've expressed very strongly how much you enjoyed this, and how much this has been like it's been a given since you were younger. But does it get difficult sometimes? Have you ever wanted to just say, okay, I'm not doing again. I want to close this company and
Like
just go to sleep?
every other month. I just took a long holiday where I went to travel for a bit and spend time with family, and that's really how I sort of recharge myself. I leave, I go home, and I sit with those that I love the most, and they help me to recharge. That's something I have to do on a regular basis. It's very, very important. Sometimes I forget to. Sometimes I feel like I could just work through the stress. And other times I just have to just stop and just go and be with people who love me, and they're able to sort of remind me of all the reasons why I'm doing this, and and sort of give me that extra boost that I need just to keep going. Like, it's not easy, but I also was under no illusion that it would be, right? So yeah, there are moments, but to quit, I don't think I've quite gotten there yet. I've not gotten to the point where I'm like, yeah, I'm done with this. I've gotten to the point where it's like, this isn't working. God, what do I do? Or moments where it's like, this is so frustrating. Then you go to sleep, you have something to eat, you watch a movie.
And you just realize you were just hungry.
You were just hungry. or or your carpenter annoyed you. But then you just have your moments where you can just stop and pause and just connect. And one of the big things that I'll definitely say is that I'm very, very big, and I'm very, very good at surrounding myself with the right people. One of my mentors advised me about this very early in my process, that I needed to arm myself with really good people, people who are able to relate, people who are able to share, people who are able to hold me accountable to my own promises to myself, and people who are incredibly knowledgeable about the journey that I've decided that I want to embark on, right? So sometimes you're not enough. And I say this with all humility, you're not enough to carry yourself sometimes. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs who are trying to find solutions to problems, real problems, and are tackling things that are a little bit bigger than them and beyond them, they understand this fundamentally, that you're not enough. You have to have a village. You have to have a tribe. And that's something that I've been very intentional about. I have my women's club. I have my, very close friends, both, home and away in Nigeria, wherever they are in the world. I have a community around me of people who are doing great things themselves, right?
Yeah.
And, one of the things that I'm awarded is having access to them, having access to their process and their journey. So I understand fundamentally that there are going to be days where you just don't have anything to give, right? But that's just that day.
Yeah.
God willing, you get another day.
Another day.
Right? And you just pray to God that you just have renewed energy.
Yeah.
Every single day.
Certainly.
Yeah, and I think if you're able to do that, and sort of arm yourself with that, I think it goes a tremendous way. I've never gotten to the point of I'm done, and it's not because of me; it's because of the people around me.
That's great. Community is really everything. It really is. And I had a guest on the podcast as well, and he I think he's based in the US, and he was pretty much saying that we don't appreciate how much community support we have here in Nigeria. It's a thing where you can pretty much call a family member. It may not be a close family member, it can be a distant family member, and just ask for something and they help you out. There's a lot of familial / communal support in this part of the world, which is one of our great assets. We have people. People always want to show up for their own. People always make the time for their own. The other day, I was asking my cousins, because we had to go to a wake for my uncle that passed, and I was asking them that how was this possible in the past? People would get time off to go attend a wake for a family member or a friend, and we're almost slowly losing that culture of being able to take personal time off to go, because we're all working corporate jobs and we're all working like very, very demanding jobs. So it's like, are we losing the culture of that communal, familial responsibility that we grew up with? People older than us, like our parents, will have you take the day off. People that are traders, for instance, they close let's say he was in a building, right, shared by, you know how Lagos markets are. So there's a store here, there's a store here, there's a store here. They're all in a building or a plaza or whatever, and they lose one person and they close their shops for the whole day. And now it's like, would we be able to sustain this thing? Because we're losing that edge, and it gives me a little bit of concern, because I feel like that's one of our best assets, the fact that we have community, and we have a very strong familial bond for the most part of it. Not everybody, but it's the prevalent culture. I hope we don't lose it anyway, because it does help in your personal life, it helps in your business, it helps with everything. You don't have to pay a babysitter to watch your kids. Just call your cousin to come and look after their cousin. That's really just how it is. It's very warm and very lovely, but seems we may not have that in the next 10 years, but I hope we do. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of these things can be swings and roundabouts, right? But I think it's beautiful that you even recognize it as something of value, right? And I think we're slowly going back to that, because I think we might have gone a little bit too close to the periphery, right?
Yeah.
And people are now getting scared, like, oh my God, are we really losing something here? So people are slowly trying to find their way back.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I say it swings and roundabouts. You know, when you've been, afforded the privilege of experiencing something contrary to what you've had, you begin to understand, wait, this thing is valuable, and maybe I don't want to lose it. So I guess in that sense, we all become a little bit more attuned to building, or being intentional about building community around us, and understanding that at the heart of everything, it's really about people. I'm hearing more and more in corporate spaces now, where, the leaders in those spaces are now being very intentional about how they go about caring for their people, and trying to create spaces for people to feel safe, to feel seen. So there are going to be moments where it feels like, oh my God, we're losing something here. But I think I can appreciate if people like you notice and quickly pull back a little bit. I think that will go a long way.
Yeah. So the last question that we're going to ask, so that we can let Demi go. Last question I'm going to ask is really just about a personal challenge or a business challenge that you faced, that you felt like this is probably the biggest challenge I've faced, and how you overcame that challenge.
So I'm going to be careful here, because I don't want to speak something into existence and then regret it. I don't think I've had that yet. I think I've had moments of challenges, but I feel like my biggest is still to come. And I'm saying that with all modesty, because I feel like to whom much is given, much is expected, right? So I feel like I've been blessed to sort of go through this journey without having a moment where I just feel like, oh my God. I've had moments of, oh goodness, what is that? But I've not had, oh my. And when you hear about some of these entrepreneurs and their stories, and somebody woke up one day and 25 billion was now 1 naira. And I'm like, that is a bad day. But yeah, I've had moments of disappointment. I've had moments, where we've made furniture and we've tried to export it. It's gotten to customs, and then, we've expected one bill and they've given us 5x what we expected. And we've already billed the custom on the other end. We couldn't go back and start telling stories, and we've had to take the L. I've had moments where, fond staff members died, within, days of me sending him home because he wasn't feeling good, only for me to hear that he's passed away. But then again, he was 70 something years old. It was a baba that I hired just to keep him engaged. He was very, very talented carpenter, and he came looking for work, and I was like, he obviously wants to be engaged. So we gave him an opportunity, and he was with us for about 5 years, got sick, and then, went home, and he passed away. And we don't know what was wrong. I believe 70 something was still quite young, in my humble opinion. My father's
fair enough,
80 odd. And he's very upperly mobile. So I felt that 70 was a little still. I felt that we would retire him. So that was a moment of, oh dear, sad. But, he wasn't in any pain. And so we had moments like that. We've had moments, where something has gone terribly wrong and a customer's unhappy, and we've had to, sort of cater to their disappointment and find solutions. And there's been moments where you lose money, you make money. That's just business, right? But I'm just grateful. I'm grateful that, our journey has been relatively, it's been an organic, slow, gentle, have its moments of turbulence, but I'm just grateful that I've been able to do this for this long. And I'm actually able to say this from a place of privilege, because I've been privileged.
Okay, thank you so much. Last words. If there's someone in a similar position as you were 8 years ago, what would you tell them?
I would tell them to prepare themselves for a journey of self-discovery. I'll tell them to understand that their purpose is deeper than what they could possibly imagine. And I'll tell them to understand that what they're doing is bigger than them. And I'll also tell them to just keep going.
It gets better.
Yeah. There are moments it gets better and there are moments where it gets worse. But overall, just keep going.
And it will be worth it. Would it be worth it?
Of course. Every journey is worth it. Every single journey is worth it. Because it's bigger than you. Everything that I do has an effect on so many other people. Right? Every achievement, every failure has an adverse effect on somebody else. If you just keep going on this journey of just discovering and don't get stuck in the details, just keep learning, keep moving, keep evolving, and just keep falling in love with the process. Fall in love with the process as much as possible, not the outcome, because sometimes the outcome will not come as you have sort of, set your mind on, but fall in love with the process and love yourself. Really, really important. So very important.
Yeah, very, very important.
Because you're not what you do, right? I think so often sometimes we get so stuck and invested into our idea of success. And this is the reason why I wrote the book. A lot of people will say to me, oh, you're very early in your journey. Why are you writing a book? Because I already had lessons. Yeah. And those lessons need to be passed on as much as possible. So the other thing I'll say is document as much as you can. Document as much as you can from day one. If you fall off, it's okay. Get back on. Continue. Go back to documenting. Invest in yourself in terms of your self-development. Make sure that you're always open to learning, and be kind to yourself. You need to be so kind to yourself so that when those days get really, really tough, you remember that it's bigger than this. Right?
Like you said before, another day will come.
Another day will come and you get another opportunity to course correct and to do better. Just be kind of yourself. Great people have gone through worse.
Amazing stuff. Thank you so much, Demi. That was very, very, very helpful, insightful. And it's real because I like that you shared with us your actual challenges, and you came from a system that was different from what is in Nigeria, and you've acknowledged the gaps between the systems, and how you've been able to pretty much work around those gaps and get optimum results nonetheless, despite the fact that maybe where we have a different way of doing things, and maybe sometimes materials are not readily available, or you have an issue maybe sending out to a customer or something. All these challenges they're normal. It's business, like you said. You some days will be good, some days will be bad, and at the end of the day, you'll be fine. You'll be okay. Just document your process, your wins, your losses, your failures. Everything is all a part of the process, and it's okay to not get it right the first time. Right? It's only going to cost you some money maybe, and money is replaceable. You can make more money. Just don't lose yourself in the process of trying to be infallible, trying to be that person that is an endless resource, or I'm never ever going to get something wrong. Like you're allowed to make mistakes. I think it's fine. It's okay. Make a mistake, make 2 mistakes. Tomorrow is another day. You will not make the same mistake again. That's the beauty of being a human being. You're allowed second chances in a way. So you do what you can do, and do stuff to the best of your ability, and learn around the process. I think that pretty much sums up how you should look at things when you're working and growing a business, or growing even yourself in your career path. Just be patient and be kind to yourself. Love yourself in Demi's own words. You need to love yourself, because if you don't, you're just going to put a lot of pressure on yourself. And something about, you remember I said a rubber band. If you put pressure on rubber, it's going to melt. So you're going to actually break. It's not just accommodating and trying to pile everything in. If you put pressure, that is heated pressure, on rubber, it's going to melt, and you're not going to be able to hold yourself together anymore. And we don't want that. So thank you so much, Demi. I was so glad to have you on this episode. It's been really, I was just in as you were speaking, because I was just digesting everything, listening very intently. And I'm sure that people that are watching this episode / listening to this episode will have a similar experience. I'm sure it's stuff that people want to hear. And it's quite a peculiar story, because now we have people leaving the country to go into another country, but we have you that came back to Nigeria to start a business, and you're satisfied, so that people that are here are encouraged that you can make a great living out of what it is that you choose to do, even in this country. So I think this is a good place to stop. Yeah. Thank you so much, Demi, for coming to the Cafe One pod. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe. CAFEONEPOD is our handle here on YouTube, and on Instagram, X, TikTok, we're at Cafe One Nige, CAFEONENIG. See you in our next one. Definitely we'll leave contact details for Major's Holdings in our description box. So make sure you visit, make sure you buy a chair or 2. Thank you so much, guys, for listening to this episode. See you in our next one. Bye.